Episode 9. Cues are important, especially from nature. So as I'm walking down the trail by this flowing live water, if there was a dock in a clearing there and a place that I could drink, that's nature saying, drink. It's like, how much more are you than that duck? Because a duck's stomach, like it's a good gauge for a human if you understand what it's trying to tell you. But you belittle animal world and then lift yourself only to not understand what it's telling you. But if you were to humble yourself and to look at it in a different light, you'd be like, thank you. But you don't see. And all that, all you have to do is just humble yourself, and you'll see it. So this pain that I keep speaking of there, 8th generation, is necessary to be able to understand a lot of that, because you need to be able to be on the ground a lot. Say someone's advocating for me, you say, yes, I am. You say, oh, yo, stick up for us. You say, yes, because of knowledge. Because behind you stands that warrior that I need. This plan that I spoke of earlier, I want to introduce it. It's a business plan that I put on Google Docs. But I'm going to introduce it. So this is my spiel, if you will. Greenfeather Foundation Incorporated, Inc., is a nonprofit organization whose mandate is to end third world conditions in indigenous communities. Period. It's created to do one thing, to make money. To make money, to put towards projects, put towards visions, put towards clubs in the communities, homes, all thrown together because of a model called the Fresh Model, Fresh model. And the first being food, most important. If you put food at the end, it's like everything after that would fail. So the food important. So within this food, there's homesteads that we want to create. So I want to buy goats for that milk. That milk is important for those organisms that live within your stomach. So that goat is the in-between. So, well, how do we get the sun into that human? So let's use animals to help. Say good. So that goat that eats that non-GMO food gives you the benefit of that sun that had to grow that product that's stored within that, say, grain or hay, straw, whatever you feed it. Hopefully it's quality, right? Because it's going to go inside you. So imagine having to ability to control what that goat ate, because you're like, well, it's going to feed my children. It's like, yes, good. That's a thought that I want you to think about. Food and vegetables. We're growing our own vegetables, and it's going to start this summer. That's going to be one part of our journey. And within this food is oil, flax. That nutritious oil that comes from the soil, and it goes into yourself to lubricate the inside of you, to help make a younger version of yourself. People ask so much of themselves, and your body would give it to you if you gave it the nutrition to do it. But you don't. In this case, that's what I'm going to do. So this other products that he created from this flax include linen. Creating a linen industry that is only could be created by First Nations people, only because of who you are, because it's genetically coded inside you. The funny part is how it is broken down is the very, very same way that you would if you were picking sweetgrass and then cleaning it, everything. And as I watched the motions, I thought, wow, these people are going to be really good at growing flax. They'll be the best. Only because of how easy it is to grow and how you treat it. And this 1 acre club that's going to be created in the communities, and these 10 communities that we're going to start this model, 150 kilometer span across Saskatchewan, like a little eyeball in the province. It's going to be fun for us leaders to convince Elon Musk to give us free internet in this little bubble. It's like, it's going to cost him nothing. But it could be part of something revolutionary, which is us getting ourselves away from the grips of government. Only because of food. And this fresh model that I'm speaking of. So within this fresh bottle, there's also renewable energy. Taking advantage of the free energy that's out there, the sun, and providing the resources, the materials to allow people to utilize it and create that environment that people think that we should own, that we should run, that we should be the leaders of. And this is our opportunity to do that, to be that green Indian, right? That green feather. And that's the name of this initiative, is Green Feather, the Green Feather Foundation. That will do one thing, make money. So within this plan, it's called greenfeatherfoundation.com. There's a lot of entrepreneurial opportunities for leaders to take control of. They need CEOs. You know the best CEOs are? The ones who listen. Because everything is all one organism. And for one to go and say, it's like, no. It all works as one. And as long as everybody's thinking as one, it becomes one. And that's what the 369 principle does too. Interesting enough. I'm going to take a little detour, this story. So this 369 from Tesla is that drink of water that I did. The more that I infiltrate my body with this live water, but not enough, because I'm using myself as well as a test subject, if you will. I've hurt my body and I had this chunky hair missing on the side of my head because of stress, because of having to believe. It's a hard walk. And the walk these leaders, you take it, it won't be that hard at all. But this food, that's where it begins, with us creating that place. So this prophecy, they talked about this food that grows on water. I want to share with you a story. So the way that they would mystify and confuse these prophets would be to zoom in and show them parts, and they would always never see the truth. They'd always be confused and just be like, food grows on water. It's like, what? And so they're just kind of like, wild rice. It's like, possibly. Cranberries, grows on water. But this image that it was shown, as I was creating this plan, my green person was helping me along and kind of just asking questions and learning and understanding, right? Be able to just go there. And so I just asked questions. So the organisms that live within the soil, you want to keep those. You don't want to keep cultivating. It's like, holy crap, it's like you just destroyed Mother Nature and all that goodness that she's been storing in there. And then you just spread it out and you're just like, it's like, there goes that goodness that you need. But using a style where you would raise it up and then create space in between and put water and have this irrigation system where you can control the amount of water that was put within that plant. If it's cabbage, then you need more water because it sucks it up and it will give it to you tenfold, right? So this water that these prophets saw, and they saw this food, they saw this water, and it was by a lake of water. So these First Nations people who have to walk towards this food, it's like this lack of food that's going to hit. You say, that's horrible. It's like planned, possibly. That's horrible. Nonetheless, no food is horrible. That's why this fresh bottle, it's important. Because when you wake up in the morning, like the first thing you should think is food. Because you need it to run that organism called you, the human. Let me tell you something about my journey as well. I say, well, you've seen how 1, 2, and 3 is, I guess. Or what heaven? Is there a heaven? It's like, of course there's a heaven. You know what heaven is? what I'm building towards for this great feather. So these people who have the opportunity to go to this place only because they were good people, or they went down there first and then went over there. So they wake up and they live by the sun, and they sleep to the sun. They wake to the sun. Their food is what they think about. Fermenting, different types of fermenting, different types of storing food. It's like their day is their moment. They don't have technology. It's like what's coming to you soon. So that's what I'm building towards. So this green feather foundation, all the principles is for when you decide, I want to just check out this different way of living, to live by the sun. The interesting part is to do that, first you have to believe that by not using soap, I will be okay. So on this website, you'll notice some books in there if you peruse. And I'll put some links as well to go see these different types of foods, these live organisms. But the most important though, I'm going to talk about this 369 and then I'm going to and now for a bit, is the water. 75% of you is water. You make up a lot. It's how you treat yourself. That water. Don't stand up to water. So you as a warrior, if you want to begin to humble yourself, is do not take showers anymore. That's Mother Nature just being insulted when you do that. A bath. So imagine you're in these places like Pakistan and these different places, and the way they have a bath. They have a bath on their knees and they pour the water in themselves. So instead of showering, bath like that for a man, even a woman, because don't stand up to that water. The only reason they do that is because they're listening. They're hearing something. They just say, oh, they're poor. But they're being blessed. And you don't realize it. You're the one who's poor, standing up to that water, just thinking you're rich because you have a shower. So this 369 principle, this water that you've humbled yourself to, you may be beginning to, better start. Because this new thought, this reset, these Wanyawak are talking about. Let me tell you a secret. These people heard a story, like you heard a story now, that there's going to be this reset, and they're not really quite sure when. It's almost like there was this silence, right? So you're expecting this earthquake. The song came out talking about this earthquake. Where were you when this earthquake hit? It's just actually pretty nice. It's a nice song, right? It's called conditioning to get people ready. So what I'm doing right now is I'm conditioning too. So it's in a strategic position when you know what's coming as well. Mother Nature. It's like, I'm not talking as a human with Mother Nature. That's why I stroke, because I allow myself to be used by Mother Nature, which is your gift that I introduced to you, 8th generation man. So this new way of living, to rely on the sun, that you want to live this heaven, these people that live it all the time. So when they go there, they just appear there, and people just don't know that they weren't there before. And so they just live that the person is supposed to live. It's nothing grand, it's nothing great. It's like, it's a place that I'm trying to get us to with this menu. This green feather and this way that you treat your body and things like that. And how you put food into it that's alive. And that's how your gifts run. But as you put this food into there, you get closer to yourself and you become this different person only because of the gifts. And they're there. But because of this food, but the cool part is it's all strategic. Because it wasn't your time yet to understand the power of you. This one network did. Some. They withheld the information. Who got it? Some. Who were the great ones in history? Certain families. Knowledge. This food. So let me tell you this word. You are what you eat. So if you put this food into humans, say food as, I'm going to give it a number, okay? 100. Say 100 frequency food creates followers. So the food that you eat and you get from the supermarkets is 100, only because the way the soil is treated. It's just ripped open and ripped open. And so it's, imagine that's like the stomach of Mother Earth, your grandmother. And then you expect fruits, and it's like, no, you get labor. Death. Only because of the way you treated that soil. So the new way that we're going to treat the soil is just like, it's all about preserving what's inside. And with this flax, utilizing that, boiling. The cool part is the information that will be utilized in the communities, this place that we're going to create a model, this green feather. We're going to create a model, that project that I spoke about. When I asked, don't walk away yet, listen. So I spent all these years putting together a plan, and was a way to get people off dependence of money. Because there's money, the people see this mark of the beast coming and they're just like, if you see a thing, you should just take your bank account and find another way to live that doesn't rely on money. Like a barter system. That's what I'm creating here. Where we as First Nations people can just step aside and just say like, we're just going to grow our own food because we actually have all the resources available. We just need to put them together. And that's the plan that I present. I wanted to have this really cool video and just but it's what I presented. But this plan, greenfeatherfoundation.com, is this organization does not profit, it just creates money. And have that start I was not able to do anything but just be able to put this together and then present it and say, this is where we're going to start as a group, as a team, as one. So I come to you and say, let's work, let's build, let's create something.